A 70-year-old widow got locked out of her own garage, the garage she parked her car in for 40 years. Then they changed the code on the house. Then they locked her in her own bedroom, the bedroom in the addition she paid for. And the person who did it to her was her own daughter. This one cost her a total of $320,000 and a heart attack. And every single dollar of it was avoidable. I'm Mark Kollar. I'm a fiduciary registered investment advisor and the author of The Retirement Navigator, and this is real life story number 6. Before I tell you what happened, I want you to sit with a number. The National Adult Protective Services Association reports that 90% of elder financial exploitation is committed by family members or other trusted people, not strangers, not some guy in a call center overseas, family. Older Americans lose more than $28 billion a year to financial exploitation, and researchers estimate about 72% of that money goes to family and friends. And here's the part that should stop you cold. Only about 1 in 44 cases ever gets reported. Everybody else stays quiet because it's embarrassing, because it's your kid. So when I tell you this story, don't think of it as a freak accident. Think of it as just a normal Tuesday. So here's the situation. A woman in her 70s, her husband had just passed away. She'd lived in that home for over 40 years. The value? $420,000. She had several children, but she had one daughter who came along much later than the rest, the baby of the family by many, many years. Mom was very close with her. That daughter was about to marry a man the family did not like, not one bit. So Mom had an idea for a wedding gift. She'd sell the house to the daughter and her new husband for $420,000. And then the mom would put an addition on the house of $220,000. So now you've got a home worth roughly $640,000 that the kids bought for $420,000. Do the math with me. That's a $220,000 gift, free and clear, the day Mom passes away. One condition: Mom keeps a life estate. That means Mom lives in her home, the home she'd been in for 40 years, for as long as she lives. Nobody can put her out. That's the whole deal. Now, watch what everybody around her did. The entire family told her not to do it. Her advisor told her not to do it. She did it anyway. Day before closing, she gets handed the life estate document. It needs to be signed and notarized at the closing table. She says, "No thanks. I've got a family friend who's an attorney. He'll take care of all that." They give her a copy anyway and tell her to hand it to her friend. A copy of the signed document after closing goes in her file. Everybody assumes it's handled. Remember that. Everybody assumes it's handled. About a year after the purchase, the daughter and the son-in-law changed the code on the garage. Mom is locked out of the garage she parked in for 40 years. A few months after that, they changed the code on the house. She can't get in her own home. A few weeks after that, they locked her in her bedroom. The bedroom in the addition she paid $220,000 to build. Then a few days later, the son-in-law threatened to push her down the stairs. 10 days after that, she had a heart attack. The rest of the family got her out and into a rental. Attorneys got hired, Adult Protective Services got involved, and a lawsuit dragged on for years. Her legal fees ran over $100,000. The suit finally settled. The daughter and her husband paid her $150,000. But now, add up what it actually cost her. $220,000 for the addition, over $100,000 in legal fees, over $150,000 in rent she paid during that fight in court for the house that she used to own. That's $470,000 out the door. Subtract the $150,000 settlement, net loss, $320,000. And now, are you ready for this? During the suit, they found out what really happened. The attorney friend she hired never registered the life estate with the county that she lived in. He never filed it. And in her state, that filing is what makes the life estate legal. All he had to do was file one document, just one, and she would have had everything golden. She'd have been legally untouchable in that house for the rest of her life. And she refused to sue him. She could have recovered the balance of her money through his errors and omissions insurance. Every attorney carries it for exactly this reason. She said no. He was her friend. One more thing you need to know. That youngest daughter, the one who caused all of this, she was the golden child. The one mom and dad threw money at her whole life. The one that could do no wrong. Let me lay out the 6 mistakes because they're all repeatable and they're all preventable. Number 1, she didn't listen to her family. She didn't listen to her advisor when everyone told her not to do it. Number 2, she hired a friend instead of a specialist. Number 3, that friend attorney that represented her also represented the daughter, the buyers, that couple at the same closing. That is a conflict of interest sitting right there in the room. Number 4, that attorney never filed the document with the county. Number 5, she refused to sue him when she found out. Number 6, she lost $320,000 and her health and her home. And here's what I want you to hear underneath the numbers. This woman was not senile. She was not confused. She was competent. She was generous. And she loved her daughter. Love is exactly what made her a target. The FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center reported in 2025 alone more than 201,000 Americans aged 60 and up lost about $7.7 billion. Average loss of over 38,000, and more than 12,000 of them lost 100,000 or more in a single scheme. But those are the stranger crimes, the ones we just walked through. The family ones mostly never show up in any report anywhere. The people who take everything from you are usually the people you'd never suspect. That's not cynicism. That's 35 years of watching horror stories happen. I've been in this business of protecting assets for over 35 years. I own my own registered investment advisory firm, which means I'm a fiduciary and I don't answer to anybody but my client. I wrote The Retirement Navigator. I got tired of watching good people lose everything they built to one bad document, one bad advisor, one bad assumption. You own the ship. You're the captain. My job is to be the navigator, to avoid the rocks in the harbor. With your money, you want to retire with your dignity intact. So here's what I'd ask you to do right now. Download my free report, The 7 Mistakes. This link is in the description and it's pinned in the comments. It takes about 10 minutes to read, and it may save you a whole lot more than $320,000. And if you're sitting there right now with a plan that involves your house, your kids, a life estate, a deed, or a handshake with somebody you trust, get a second set of eyeballs on it before you sign anything. Not a friend, a specialist. And make sure somebody confirms it was actually filed. Does that make sense? Hit like, hit subscribe so you don't miss these. I'll see you in the next video.